Hi everybody, how are you doing today? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Corrine here. Hope you're having a great day. So today we're going to be making, I'm going to show you how to use your gilding flakes again. So this is another technique using gilding flakes and a stencil. So gilding flakes are light pieces of flattened metal. You can get multiple different kinds. This is the example that I made yesterday. So you can see here where the copper is, that's my gilding flakes. And then this is the extra part of the technique where I've used glitter. And so this is actually going to be my Father's Day card this year, and I don't have to worry about that because he actually won't be seeing this video. He doesn't really watch. But yeah, and then just on the inside, I've just put Happy Father's Day. But for this card, yeah, so it's got Darth Vader and Grogu, the Baby Yoda, and then the Mandalorian here cut out of the Disney castle. And so just thought that'd be really kind of neat on that background. So this is what we're going to be creating, or something similar today. I'm not doing the exact same design, but I'm going to show you how to make this happen. Okay, so first thing that you're going to need is a piece of cardstock with double-sided adhesive on it. So this is, I'm just using Soup Wang, and my cardstock is 4¼ traditional A2 size, so 4¼ by 5½. And I'm going to use the whole panel. I can cut it down if I decide to later, but for right now, it's 4¼ by 5½. Okay. Then what you're going to need is a stencil. In general, for this particular technique, I really do recommend that you have one. It can be delicate, but you do want something that has like really good connections to it. The first time I did this technique, I used one that had trees, and the trees were a little like they didn't join all the way up and down. They had little notches cut out of them to, so you could add color and things like that. But what that meant then is that when I went to remove it, it ended up sticking down and I almost tore my stencil. So you do want to be very careful with that. Okay. So stencil. So I'm going to be using this mandala stencil here, and I'm going to be making a birthday card for my niece. And so now, next thing that you're going to want is a watermark stamp pad. So something that is sticky, has a sticky ink, kind of a little bit of a greasy feel to it, a little bit, something like that. And you want to make sure that it's really juicy. So whatever you use for, like using for heat embossing, things like that, or making a watermark, that's the kind of ink that you want. And you're going to want to make sure that your pad is very juicy. Then you're going to come in and you're going to start inking up your stencil on one side, whichever side you decide you're going to have face down. And you want to transfer a lot of that, the stickiness or the adhesive, the glue, whatever, the ink of whatever it is. So I'll hold this up so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm not sure if the camera's going to catch it, but you can see this is still quite shiny versus this is getting a little more liquidy and somewhat sticky. You want to make sure that you have a very good coating on here, because this is what's going to help your stencil be lifted from your double-sided adhesive. Okay, so I'm just going to put this to the side for a minute. That ink will still stay wet. And I'm just going to wipe down my surface here. A bit of a wipe. So even my surface is a little sticky, so that's fine. All right, so now I'm going to pull my double-sided adhesive, my cardstock that has the double-sided adhesive on it, and I'm going to remove the back panel. Theoretically, I'm going to remove the back panel. There we go. Okay. And so this is all sticky. Oh, I wonder if I managed to get on there. That's very interesting. Okay, but that's all right. That part I'm actually going to end up covering up. So I'm just going to put this down. I'm going to hang on to my release paper here, okay? And I'm going to take my stencil with the side that I put the sticky stuff on, and I'm going to put sticky side down. Like that. Now with this particular one, it doesn't necessarily matter how good the lines are or not. Okay. So now I'm taking my release paper and I'm just kind of burnishing my stencil into the cardstock. Okay. You can see here it's actually sticking to my work surface a little bit, and that's okay. Now, there are two ways that we could do this. I could take my metallic flakes, so my gilding flakes, and I could put it into, which is what I had done on this particular example, right? So the gilding flakes went into all of the open areas of my stencil, and then the glitter went into, once I lifted it, that's what was left. So it went into the, I guess what would that be called? The negative space. So, but because I'm going to be using this cool purple, I'm going to use that into all of the spaces on my uh, stencil. And then around it is where I'm going to put my gilding flakes. So I'm going to start first with my glitter. And I actually want to have, I'm going to put a little card base here so that I can lift this up. It's going to be a little sticky, which is fine, but I do want to make sure that I'm going to try and keep all of my glitter into one space. I mean, it's glitter, it's going to get all over the place, but we can try and minimize that as much as possible. So now I'm just going to take my glitter and I'm going to pour it into the areas here. So basically, through the stencil, any place that is exposed now that has the two-sided tape or the double-sided adhesive is sticking up on in my stencil is now going to have glitter sticking to it. Okay, so I'm just going to rub my fingers on my stencil and kind of burnish that glitter into place so that it sticks to my adhesive. That's what I want. It needs to stick to the adhesive. So just making sure that I'm covering all of those little nooks and crannies. The center of I don't know if this is a dahlia or a mandala or whatever it is, but I like it. I've used it on several different other projects with white pigment ink and things like that. I really like this. It's about as delicate as I go and as flowery as I go. So now I'm picking up my stencil and my cardstock that's on it as well. And I'm just kind of giving it a tap off to remove some of the glitter off the top of it. And then I've also got, come on, there we go. I've got a little brush here, or well, it's quite a big brush, but I'm going to take that and I'm going to rub down some of my glitter back into the card here so that I can try and get most of that back into the pot. I don't really want to waste my glitter. Okay, so I'm just going to put that to the side. And then I'm going to pick up my card brace here. And we're going to start funneling this back into the little tube here. Now that I've got most of it off of there, I'm going to give this a little tap. Okay. And I'm going to put that to the side for now. A little glitter all over the place here. And cover that up before I sneeze or knock it over. Then I'm going to pull out my little glitter, my little ladybug. It's a glitter vacuum. Picks up some glitter. Does a pretty decent job, actually, of picking up some of the glitter. It's not going to get all of it, of course. It's not perfect, but it does pick up a good portion of it. There you go. Works great with embossing powder, too, if you've accidentally dumped your embossing powder. Okay, so now I've got my stencil and my double-sided cardstock here, or not double-sided, sorry. Well, it is double-sided, but my double-sided adhesive. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm going to start to separate my cardstock from my stencil. Okay, and I'm going to pick this up. And you can see where it gets a little more difficult in the area where it's more solid, right? That's okay. Still going to pull that off. There we go. Okay. So I've got a little bit of extra. I didn't stick my stencil down super well on this side, and that's all right. So I'm going to kind of blow that off a little bit here. So that's going to end up staying there, but that's all right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so you can see here where I've got all of the open areas. I've even got some, I don't know, some schmutz or something that was on, I think it was on my soup line when I put that down. but that's okay because I'm going to bring my metallic flakes and I'm going to be able to cover that. So any place now that is showing as white is now going to adhere our gilding flakes to. Okay. So again, when you're using gilding flakes, you want to be careful not to sneeze or breathe too hard or cough or whatever, because it will blow all over the place, your whole container. This huge piece of gold. I'm just going to kind of stick it down and walk it into certain areas here. Pick up some more silver. Oop. Stick my jar to it. Okay, and I'm just kind of going to go around and tap this down a little bit. So some of those pieces are sticking to the two-sided adhesive, double-sided adhesive. And a couple more. This is, oops, not this ginormous piece of gold. We'll put that over there to the side there. All right. Let's get some more stuff over there. Okay, it's getting a little sticky to my fingers, so I'm going to try and put that back in the jar. And put this big piece of gold in there. I'm going to leave this open just for a little minute here, and I'm going to, in this area here where I've kind of buffed this gold down, now I'm going to take my scoochy. So this is just a humidifier pad. It's actually the Tim Holtz Ranger stamp scrubber, and I've cut it into a couple of pieces so that I would have something to utilize here. And I'm just going to take the pieces of the and start to burnish in my gilding flakes. I want down here that I want to have that stuck into, so let's get that in. There we go. So you can see down here in this corner where I had that, I don't know what it was that was stuck to my my suquang there, but I've managed to cover it up because I put the silver on top. Well, silver and gold, whatever. In here, caption these areas, tamping it down. I like to kind of scoop up a little bit off of there, and then I bring it in, burnish it back down into the two-sided adhesive or double-sided adhesive. Sorry, I don't know why I keep calling it two-sided adhesive. It's double-sided adhesive, whatever. And then I've got a couple of areas here where it looks like I could add, yeah, see that part right there is still open. I'm going to take a piece and I'm going to push that into place there. There's a little bit right here and a little bit on the side. Not a lot, just a little bit. And you start to get a feel for, like you can tell, okay, I've still got adhesive I can feel through the glitter and from the gilding flakes of where it ended up there. Okay. Go. I'm going to put this big chunk back in there because we don't need to waste that. If I can get any of these little ones, although it is very staticky. Now, before I cough and do something silly and blow that all over the place, I'm just going to close that up. I'm going to push this off to the side here, scooch it back a little bit, make sure that everything is now buffed in using my little scoochy thing here. A little tool. The noise that it makes is a little like chalkboard or nails on a chalkboard, but it's not too bad. All right, I'm just gonna wipe that off a little bit. Okay. Okay, and I am now going to pull out my little vacuum again. Works good for this as well. Okay, I'm going to give my work surface a bit of a wipe here. So you can see here the places where the gilding flakes stuck. This is where I had, when I was doing my stencil, this is where the Versamark came through on here. Okay. So I'm going to give my stencil a bit of a wipe because it's still got all that glitter on it. So we'll give it a bit of a wipe here. And so that off of there. I'll probably have to take that and put it in a wash bit or in some water, but that's okay. That's mostly just because it's glitter. The last one that I did the gilding flakes first, and it wiped right off, which was fine. So that was nice. But because I'm using glitter, sometimes that's what happens. And then I'm just going to give this a bit of a wipe down. It's just got Versamark, which is water soluble on it, so it won't harm your stencil at all. But again, that's why I suggest that you have something that has really good adhesion all the way through. Even though this is fairly delicate, you do want to make sure that it's got an adhesion all the way through, because when you go to lift it up, it sticks to your double-sided adhesive really well, and you don't want to be tearing your stencil. All right, a little more of that glitter. There we go. Okay. So here is my card front. Look at how gorgeous that is. So and if I want, I can trim some of this off. I think I will because it's got too much purple on that one side where my stencil lifted up because I didn't stick it down very well in that area. So I'm going to trim that off. So I'm going to make my card. Let's get my trimmer here. Trim that down just a little bit. So my card front is now going to be 4 inches by, and I notice down here that I've got a little bit of my white card base still showing. So it was 5.5. So now I'm going to bring it down to by 5. So I'm just going to take essentially a 1/4 inch off all the way around. Okay, so now my card front will be 4 by 5.25. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it onto my card front. So and I kind of like how the mandala is off to the left here. So that's where I'm going to keep it. So I'm just going to eyeball this basically. Oops, oops, oops. There we go. Okay, that should be good there. Just stick that down. Okay. Now for my card, I have this adorable little Tinkerbell that I cut out that I think would be really cute there. And then the sentiment, because this is, again, it's going to be a birthday card. Thinking I could do this make a wish. Like this. So I either have to fiddle with her a little. Let's see. I can get her wings to go there. Now, I don't mind that. Make a wish. That's quite nice. The A here. I have to say, if you're using this particular sentiment set, this because it's from a die, right? Oh, I could actually do make a wish. No, that's not the one. Okay. Using this particular die, it's very fussy. Very, very, very fussy. Wish. So I quite like her on that. So that dark purple shows up really quite nice. And I could even have her hanging off the card just a little bit if I wanted. I'm not even sure if I'm going to stick down. I think I'm just going to stick her down and have her wings kind of flopping like that so that it looks like she's flying a little bit. And then the make a wish down here in the corner. And again, that also helps hide where I had that schmutz that was on my card here. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's get out some liquid adhesive. Now, because I'm gluing onto glitter, I definitely want a nice, strong adhesive. So I'm going to be using Barely Art glue. And it's a good, strong adhesive that will dry clear. So if I have any seepage, which based on how much glue I'm putting on here, I likely will. And I want to have her go like that, right in the center of the flower. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this for just a minute so that it does start to be start to begin, so that it does begin to adhere. And I'm also going to cover it with a couple of blocks, just like that. All right, see, there's a seepage right there. And so that will dry clear. Just going to add a little bit of weight onto that to allow it to start to adhere. Okay, and now I'm going to go down, and I think I'm going to start with this wish because I like where this is down here, and I can kind of shift those. So now I'm just going to take this little, what I like about this particular glue is that this tip on here is incredibly, incredibly fine. So I can just go with little dots of glue all along. Oops. So I cut out this die out of, because I really like this sentiment. The problem is that it's really fussy. And when you're using this kind of cardstock, which is this glittered, but it's kind of got like a vinyl or like a rubbery background to it. So it's a little fussy, which is not normally what I like to do, but you know, sometimes bakers can't be choosing. And what I've done here is I've left the tittle from the eye. I've left it in the piece that I cut apart here. I don't know if you can, let's get you into frame here. I don't know if you can see that, but the tittle is right there. So, and I left it in here so that I didn't lose it. So now I'm going to pull that off and then stick a bead of glue down. And get my little tittle over there. There we go. Okay. Oh, I was sneeze coming. Okay, she should look here going. Pardon me. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so now I'm going to play with make. See how I like that in terms of, yeah, that works right there. So I can, I'm going to do the two bigger words to start with, and then I can move that A from the make a wish around if I need to. So that just helps sometimes with balancing. And but I'm not a perfectionist, so I don't need to get out rulers and all of that kind of things. I tend to eyeball more, but it is nice when you have some bigger things to help those balance out some of the smaller ones. So if you put the bigger pieces down, or if you're doing like a word that is all separate letters, you can do like the center part first and then the two outsides, and then or do the two like the center, then the two, and then move them out that way. That gives you a better idea of your spacing. Or do the center and then the two outsides and then start to move in, and it'll help you gauge how far over you can go. So now I'm just gonna tap down this little guy here. Make a wish. Make a wish. Make a wish. Now these are all pretty sticky already. So here's our card. So that make a wish actually, despite like when it's down here, it's a little more difficult to see. But actually when you get right up close, it's not bad at all. So, but it's really bright and colorful. And then I've got a second one here that I cut out that I think will be really cute. So, because I'm not going to stamp, well, I might stamp a happy birthday here. I'm not going to do that today, but so I've got this really cute little, another little Tinkerbell. So again, I'm just going to stick down the body. I'm going to leave the wings so that they can be popped up or movable if they want. And I'm going to do this here. Stick. I'm just making sure that the wings, though, are coming down beyond my fold line so that I can actually fold it. And then she's got this little kind of dandelion that could go here, but I think, you know what? I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to leave me little Miss Tinkerbell just like that. And then I can do my happy birthday right there. All right, now for embellishments. Now it's already got a lot of glitter, a lot of shine, so we don't need a lot on here. Okay, we can add if we want, but some people like to, some people don't. That's really a personal preference. I've got a couple of different options that I pulled here. So I've got some silver and gold half pearls here. You can see these are really cute. But I think because there's already so much silver and gold on there, if I was going to pull anything in, I would pull in like these the white flat backed pearls kind of thing. Just do a couple of those around the sentiment, maybe, just to highlight the sentiment. That's a possibility. Oh, I lost my tittle. Okay, so I'm gonna have to use something because the tittle came off. I don't know where it went to. That's funny. Where did my tweezers go? Tweezers, there we go. All right. So I've got these really cute little white flat back pearls that are quite nice. So that, I think you guys can see that, but that is an option. See with the white there. So it just kind of brings a little bit of attention down below. But I think what I'm going to do is put these guys away. Yeah. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Setting off my alarm here. Now I'm trying to figure out where it is. There we go. Oop. I have to come back to that. There we go. Oh, can't believe I managed to make that work. Sorry, that was my alarm that I got to go turn on dinner. So good thing we're almost done here. Great. So what I'm actually going to use is some Nouveau drops. Now I've had this color that I'm using is Violet Galaxy. So I'm just going to do, I've been warming this up under my leg for probably about 20 minutes since I started the video. That's going to give us some nice consistency, but it's always good to kind of tap it and just make sure that your everything is working okay. And right now it's plugged, which is just awesome. So I'm going to take the tip of my glue, pull that out. Let's see here. Let's try it on the side. And I'm cleaning it off on my fingers here, cleaning my pin on, because that's going to go back in my glue and I don't want to tint all of them. There we go. There we go. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create a tittle so that my eye actually has an eye on it. I'm going to do a couple of little drops here. 1 and 2, 3. So, and then I think, so as soon as I've got those ones over there, I'm going to do one here and one here. Okay. Those just a little tap. Again, Nouveau drops are self-leveling, so they will continue to stay rounded, so they will look like their own flat back jewels. So you can't quite see them. So there's 2 right there, 1 for the tittle, and then I've got 3 up top here. So those are going to be the only things that I'm doing for embellishments. So this is our card. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the demo today, and I hope you have fun playing with your gilding flakes, utilizing your stencils in a whole new way. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.